Right. I want to ask some questions which are a bit more sensitive, and then I promise we'll circle back to something a bit lighter. Sure. I wanted to ask you about the measures that were levied against the former Prime Minister and President Sali Berisha.
Sure.
So there were whispers, and I've seen a few articles in the media recently that there may be other individuals that could potentially be subject to similar measures in the future. Is this correct, or is it just speculation?
So I will answer that, but just let me set the context, because the UK is really clear that we stand with our friends in Albania and the wider Western Balkan region in the fight against criminality and corruption. And the reason for that, corruption is really corrosive on society. Not only does it mean that it works against the rule of law and good governance, but it also denies citizens the services that they need, the jobs, the support and opportunities that they deserve. So we are determined to help those who are also determined to make a difference in this field. And that's why we're fully supporting Albania's justice system, in particular organisations like the Special Prosecutor against corruption and serious criminality, SPAC. And that really, we will intensify our efforts to make sure that if there's anything we can do on prosecutions, law enforcement, investigations, we're supporting that effort. Because the best thing is if justice can be applied within the country here. We also applaud and support the tireless work of investigative journalists. It's really important that the media and civil society organisations can hold to account institutions, the government and others, and shed light on these important issues. And then as the UK, we also have a number of disruptive tools and measures that we will continue to apply. Those can be utilised by ministers, like we did in July last year against a number of individuals. And we also have another powerful tool, the Global Anti-Corruption sanctions regime, which is designed to combat serious corruption around the world. And so we will continue to use all levers at our disposal where appropriate to tackle corrupt actors, whether that's in the Western Balkans or globally. You asked about whether there is going to be further action. The UK will take further action when it is deemed appropriate and when it meets the requirements of all our legal frameworks. But we don't comment specifically on future sanctions designations, as to do so would actually reduce their impact.
Of course. Now, the other question I want to ask you on this, and this is more something because when these measures happened last year, there was a huge amount of speculation and disinformation in the media. And I want to ask you if you can clarify, not specific to anybody, but if measures are enforced against somebody, and I was trying to explain, it's not like a court process. You don't have to present your evidence, your case, etc. This is something that the government has the sovereign right to do. Can you, in a nutshell, explain the process of this whole proof concept, whether the government has to provide public proof for enforcing these measures, or whether it's just something you have the right to do?
So I can't go into more than is set out publicly already, which is clear that we have these tools at our disposal. They are for ministers to decide, and they are subject to the usual British legal frameworks in terms of how they're applied. And we don't comment, as you say, on individual cases. But what I can say is that we are committed to disrupting the links between criminality, corruption and politics. And we will use disruptive tools where that's needed.
That's fine. Thank you for answering the question.